Hey guys, it's me, Tiffany, and welcome back to my channel. So I am a comic book nerd. I'm not as much as I used to be, but I do read the graphic novels occasionally. But I've never been a Superman fan. The only exception has been a TV show called Smallville. And honestly, I don't know if that's just for nostalgia or the fact that, like, you know, old CW vibes made it better. But I've just never cared for our dude. Like, I didn't hate him, but when he would like be in other people's stuff or like even just like the Justice League, I would just roll my eyes. And I never really gave his comics a chance, even though I've read comics where he's like appeared in them. I just didn't care. So after watching Zack Snyder's new Justice League, I decided, you know what? Maybe I should give him a chance. So I read two graphic novels and I watched a movie. I did not watch an adaptation of what I read or vice versa. And I mean, maybe I should have read the movie instead of like just watching one, but I have no interest in reading that right now. I'm naturally not the kind of person who wants to like watch something that instantly read the book or read the book and instantly watch the movie to it. If I do that, it's usually, a few months in between. That's just how I am personally. So the first one I picked up is Secret Identity Superman. I thought this would be a safe shot because this is an alternate universe, so I thought maybe it'd be a little less weird, a little less hard to get into. I didn't feel like starting a huge commitment, which I know you don't have to keep going if you don't enjoy something, but since this is just like a one-shot thing, I just thought this would be it. And also it has great reviews. And I definitely see why. I do like the artwork in this a lot. Like, I think it very fits, like, the aesthetic of the artwork fits the story very well. Especially, like, since most of the graphic novel, it's written, like, on typewriter stuff. And then when the typewriter breaks, the bubbles become more modern. And I thought that was, like, really cool. And this story basically, like, Superman's kind of like how Superman with us, and he's like a fictional character on TV or whatever. And his parents decided they're going to be funny. They live in a small town. Their last name is Kent, so they named their son Clark. And he gets really annoyed because he gets all the Superman merchandise. He gets all the Superman jokes. He gets bullied. He's just like, ugh. And I'm sure if an equivalent happened, that's probably the reaction they would get growing up. But that is what it is. And I think, like, some of the stuff's too on the nose. Like, he meets a Lois and people try to set them up together because of his name and things. And I get that they're trying to make something that's an alternate universe. And, like, he still has a lot of the same core values. He still works at a newspaper. Like, they're trying to keep him as true to Superman as possible, but in an alternate setting because instead of being born with superpowers, he gets them randomly on a camping trip as a teenager, so he has a different perspective on things as, like, the Superman we know does. But some of the stuff's too on the nose. I think they should have, like, made him a little more different. But I do like the fact that you see him going through life, and he actually ages and becomes an elderly person, and I think, like, that's such a nice touch because we don't usually see that with superheroes, especially since, like, our Clark Kent or our Superman is Kryptonian, so I don't think he ages. I'm not fully sure. I'm not totally caught up in Superman, but I thought this was interesting. I give this probably like a 6 out of 10 though. Like, this is not enough to be like, hey, I definitely need to invest in more Superman, but I'm like, you know what, this is actually like an enjoyable read and I didn't mind it. Okay, so the second thing I read was Superman for All Seasons. This starts off like the post-crisis comics, I think. According to Goodreads, I could be wrong. But this is kind of a small, self-contained story, and like a lot of the Superman sites, like you don't feel the need to have to keep going if you don't want to kind of thing. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with the cons. Since I started talking about the artwork first with the other one, I actually don't enjoy the artwork in this. It's not so ugly that it puts me off from the comic, but it reminds me of like, kind of like some of the older Archie comics or like newspaper drawings, just they have more eyes instead of the little black dots. But like I said, it didn't put me off. I just wasn't a fan of it. But it was written in the 90s, and like artwork has definitely changed since then. At least I've noticed with like other superheroes that I've read. But I think I enjoyed this story a lot more. It's divided into his life, and I think this is kind of a semi-origin story. There is spring, summer, fall, and winter, and instead of his perspective, is other people's perspective, and that's something I really enjoyed about this, honestly. It's like Jonathan Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, and Lana Lang. Lana Lang and Lois Lane, man, that's like a tongue twister saying them too close together. But they're told in their perspective, and you do see him talk to people, but it's not through his point of view. And I think that's what I enjoyed about this most, because it's about him affecting other people. And yeah, like Lex Luthor is in this, but he's mostly just complaining and like saying like, I want my city back, more than he's actually being a villain. There's no major fights in this or the other one, to be quite frank. But I did enjoy this a lot more. This felt very familiar, and like, even though I haven't read much with Superman and stuff, like this is kind of like what you think of with Superman, but it's not as lame as I expected. To be honest, like I was expecting to not enjoy this at all, and I actually did. I'd probably give this closer to a 7, but I'm still unsure if this is like enough to win me over with Superman. Alright, so the last one is the movie. I thought this would be easier to put at the end. So Superman Red Sun, I watched this on HBO Max. If you have that, that's on there. And this is basically like if Clark would have landed in the Soviet Union during the Cold War instead of Kansas. And it's an interesting thing because the story is definitely a lot darker, and there's like some Green Lanterns in it. There's Brainiac, Lex Luthor, which I think Lex Luthor's like in everything. Wonder Woman, and Batman. And seeing Batman being like actually murderous was really cool. As I said, I've not read the graphic novel, so I don't know how it compares as it. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. I like seeing like him like, because Lex Luthor is probably my favorite time seeing Lex Luthor, to be honest, except for like early seasons of Smallville. And he's actually just trying to save his country instead of like just trying to be a manic person and just going after Superman, even though he doesn't trust Superman. And honestly, I wouldn't either. And I mean, it was cool seeing somebody just like punch Stalin. That's kind of neat. Because, and I also like seeing stuff from like the Cold War era because everybody's so paranoid. And I like that there was so much smoking in it because that was like, people thought smoking was healthy back then. I don't know. But, you know, that is what it is. But I really enjoyed it. And I think the artwork was pretty, but I felt like it didn't fit. Like, it looked too modern. I think it would have been cool if, like, they would have done an older aesthetic with the cartoon drawing. I feel like Brainiac did not get enough time to feel relevant to the story, to be honest. That's just me. I feel like he was just kind of there and then just showed up to be the bad guy. I felt like more screen time with him instead of him just being like robotic. And I know he changed and that's supposed to be like a twist, but it just felt like out of place in my opinion. And I like that Wonder Woman was kind of like the voice of reason. But when Superman was like, no, I'm not doing anything wrong, she was just like, bye. But she was still there to help him, but she wasn't like putting up with his crap. And I definitely like appreciated that. And I think overall, like, that's my favorite of the three. I would definitely watch this movie again when enough time passes. And maybe I'll pick up the comics later, but as I said earlier, I don't usually go from one version of to the same story to the other, like, really fast. So, yeah. And I hope that maybe when I see Superman and other things, this makes me not roll my eyes as much or cringe as much. I'm not really sure if this won me over on him, but I like having some stories as reference that I don't mind of Superman, instead of just being like, yeah, I don't like him at all. He's lame and there's nothing good. At least I can be like, yeah, he's not my hero, but I do like X, Y, and Z. And that was basically my purpose of this. And I don't know if you've had similar experiences with other superheroes or certain comic lines or even with manga or what have you, or any books, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I wanted to give Superman another chance. And if you have any good recommendations from Superman that's not just like 15 million volumes, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe I'll give it a chance. Maybe. And I will see you later.